And over the years, she has seamlessly navigated corridors of design, leadership, and innovation, leading landmark projects and setting new benchmarks every day. Today at L&T EduTech, she channels that experience into creating programs where students don't just learn concepts, rather they apply, experiment, and see them come alive. And with that, I welcome Febin to formally inaugurate this conclave.
Thank you, Krishna. Good morning. It's always a pleasure to have a lot of guests who we call the real force behind shaping our country. We always say the students who come out of campuses are going to take our country forward. So I extend a hearty welcome to each one of you, teachers, educators, and also we have a lot of people from the industry because without the industry inputs and without their guidance, whatever we do, always there'll be a gap. When we talk about industry academia gap, it's become a buzzword today, but what is it exactly? Is it just industry coming and conducting a short program, or is it really living with the industry? Is following the industry? So I think without those industry inputs, it's going to be difficult. So I would like to welcome all of you, and also we have senior leaders who, as Krishna and Abhay was saying, this L&T EduTech is actually existing because of the power and expertise of intellectual power, of Last and Dobro. So we've been able to kind of, have impact on the learners because of the inputs from L&T itself. In the sense, L&T is a forerunner in a lot of businesses. We kind of, we are the first to do a lot of things in technology, engineering, in all facets. It's just not some of when I go to various colleges or corporates, they know L&T only as a construction company, but actually we are a technology company. And if you see construction with IoTs, construction with digital, manufacturing with automation, robotics, right, smart infrastructure, smart labs, all those we do. I mean, it's a very technology-driven business that L&T is in. So that is why we are here, and the impact that we bring into the future workforce as well as in the campuses and in the corporates is solely because of that. And that way, I would like to thank and welcome Mr. R. Srinivasan, uh, our Executive Vice President, leader in smart systems, I would say. I mean, it's so much that we are doing, so I don't want to actually give only one small this thing. So thank you, sir, for coming. And Mr. Kalyan is also a leader who was chief executive L&T Valves earlier, and now he's taken a larger portfolio. So I would like to congratulate him as well in this forum. So thank you for coming, and all the industry leaders who have come today to actually interact with the academia from various industries, right? Who are here to actually tell us what's happening in the industry through a panel discussion. Um, so today we were waiting to EV is one area that we have gone ahead. We have about 15 colleges that we have partnered, and we have about 1,500 students going through a joint degree program in various areas. Also, we have tried our, the learning, the training with some of the corporates like Mahindra and Maruti as well. Because we have our L&T Technology Services, which is also into EV space. We have our L&T Semiconductor Technology business, which is into semiconductor, fabless, chip design, etc. So we're finding a lot of interest in all that. And today, as my colleagues have said, we have thrown open a small lab where we can showcase what we are actually taking to the learners. So that was the uh, today's event actually, which follows this. So you'll all be visiting that after this particular interactions in the afternoon. So what we are doing is, it's all of you are there actually to teach fundamentals and concepts to the students, and industry comes in actually to tell you what are we doing today, right? So we have created programs where the students can do hands-on, can do some experiments, take out data, and analyze it and see what is. The mind should be innovative. How can we start it from the beginning? And I've seen in a lot of campuses, a lot of great things are actually happening. Industries come and events are happening, and students go to in the last with the new NET coming in. It is like the seventh and eighth semesters are practically in the industry most of the time. But my personal this thing is that it should not be for the sake of credits or for the sake of a policy that has come in from the government, but it should be real. It should be like the students who are studying electronics, who are studying mechanical, who are studying electrical, they should find this excitement in what we're doing as industry, and that's an engineering, and wherein the entire technology, the IT, the artificial intelligence, the machine language, everything gets embedded into it. Today, engineering is kind of loose. That's what I would say. In an industry, we always want engineering as a multidisciplinary concept. You cannot be just one engineer. You have to be interdisciplinary. You need to know interfaces. So that is where we are trying to kind of, showcase anything as a whole project rather than just an element. So with that intent, we are trying and doing this, and I really am happy to welcome each one of you to our campus. And I urge you to actually use the opportunity to interact with everyone who is here. The industry leaders are here, and also give us your feedback on what we can do. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you so much, Febin, for beautifully setting that context and putting us behind the vision, and for showing us that EduTech is not just a skilling platform, but a bridge between aspirations and opportunities. Next, we have the honor of welcoming our chief guest, a leader who has transformed L&T smart world and communication business, Mr. R. Srinivasan, the Executive Vice President and Head of Smart World and Communication. His story began at L&T as a GET, but over 40 years, he has quietly shaped some of the most impactful projects across power, communication, and smart infra. From building power plants and substations to bringing fiber optic networks and airport systems to life, his work has always been about connecting people with technology in meaningful ways. In the smart world and communication business, he has brought cities to life, creating systems that keep traffic flowing, enhance security, and even help save lives during large gatherings. His team's AI-driven crowd management solution used during Kumbh Mela is a testament to how powerful engineering can touch millions of lives. A journey showing how technology, when guided by purpose, can create cities safer, smarter, and more humane. So, with that note, I welcome you, sir.
Good morning. Thanks, Evan, for beautiful gathering, and thanks for the introduction about me. Um, I just had, I know we had a chance to go to the lab before coming here, and I think hats off to the team. I think Jambu and the team explained the whole thing. It was extremely good and very informative, and I think I'm sure in the afternoon when we are going to go there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think you will really find very interesting, and I think hats off to the entire team. But what is important here is, I thought probably I was just wondering as to what I should be talking, because it's basically a EV, which is a different subject from what I have been doing all along, in my career. But what is important is that staying relevant, I think, is very, very important. That's what I feel, and which L&T has been doing, all through which probably I will share some of the things with you. So that way, when we started this EduTech, so because I know I have seen the growth of EduTech over the last 4 or 5 years, right from the time it started. We were wondering, what they were going to do. Today morning when I had it, and I have been constantly, getting information about how they have been moving up the value chain. It's not just the construction part of it, the way they have gone into AI, data analytics, cyber security, and today this EV lab. EV is already started, but today it is the EV lab part of it. I think it's a fantastic. And in software and hardware, we used to always say upgrade and update. I can tell you this is happening on a regular basis in EduTech, and the kind of how many we always say in smart city, how many people, the lives of millions of people that we have improve the quality of life of the people. That's what we used to say. I think you're also doing the same thing. And when I just went through the brochure of L&T EduTech the other day, the kind of people you have trained and the colleges, the MOUs you have signed, and today I came to know the kind of courses that you are conducting, MTech courses and all that. It's amazing. So I think first and foremost, I would like to congratulate Febin and the entire team of EduTech for this wonderful achievement. And today it's a great milestone. When you go to the lab, you will realize. I was just wondering whether when Jambu was working under me, so is he the person who is doing all? So I think it's a great thing to be here. And sometime back, in fact, because I also happen to be the chairman of IEEE Industrial Application Society. So we conducted a smartathon in St. Joseph College of Engineering. Almost about 300, 400 teams participated. And when I spoke to them, I mentioned about this EduTech also. This is one thing which we are doing. Our people should be interested, because what is the normal syllabus is being done by them, which is very different. They are making you more employable, and on the subject in which you will have interest. And maybe a week back, this one of the professors there came and met me, and we have already signed with EduTech. So I'm very happy, So that way, I think whoever is listening, whoever is through the net, if somebody is listening, this is a wonderful initiative of Larsen and Toubro, and I'm sure this will go a long way. And constantly keeping you relevant is very important, because it is not going to be over just with EV. It will be much more in the days to come. And very, very impressive. And here I would like to take a quote from our CEO when he came last time, when he said, in technology, we are only as good as what we do next. In technology, we are only as good as what we do next. So how do you, constantly reinventing yourself is very important. I think EduTech is doing that, and hats off. So coming to the, L&T part of it, I was telling, that being part of L&T, EduTech follows the same kind of growth and aspirations as L&T has always been doing. I still remember, even when we were doing the construction part of it, when others were doing using only some planks and plywoods and all that, we started getting into the DOCA form, which is, we always look at technology. It's a completely technology driven company. So that time we went to DOCA, and today I think with the drawing they'll be able to give the bill of quality, and the speed with which they could do all the projects that we are doing now. I think now much more further technologies would have come, but I think the adoption was maybe about 20-30 years back, probably I'm talking about. That's what we did. And next, the thing is, when we came to the digital part of it. So in fact, I was taking care of all the power plants, steel plants, cement plants, as electrical engineering, instrumentation and communication. So at one point of time, we were trying to, constantly we were trying to diversify ourselves. At that time, we found that integrated security, system, because the incidents 9/11, 26/11 and all that happening, there was a need for integrated security solutions. So we were already connecting devices in plant, and now this is connecting devices in a city, and working in a city or cross country is never a problem for L&T. So then I immediately approached the top management, and immediately the CMD said, yes, we should start, and you go ahead and start. Parallelly, we started digitalization of all our today I can tell you that if you have about 35,000 equipment, almost 17 or 18,000 of the equipment are connected, which means sitting in the in the cabin, one will be able to find out, how much of this, how the DG sets or any equipment, how it is used, how effectively utilized. You don't have to wait for the end of the month to find out what it has actually happened. And with the cost optimization being one of the important objectives, you will know exactly from where to which side it has to go. And today, I'm sure they must be using AI also to find out how this is being done. So we got into the smart world and communication, which I'll explain a little bit, after the initial a few points on EV. I'll talk to you about what all we have done. Then we moved into data center. We started with data center. We have a data center in Mumbai. We have a data center in Kanchipuram, which is currently 30 megawatt. It's only megawatt. And now we have gone into cloud. So when you go to the cloud, it is not just the space. It's not the storage space that is in cloud. You have to go for applications. This is probably something which probably I think EduTech could take up in the days to come, because now because we are doing a smart metering project where the meters are connected to head-end system, then it goes to meter data management, and the entire thing, the solution is done in cloud, so that automatic connect, disconnect. Even we have created an app with which you will be able to find out how much of load you have used during the day. If you are using AC, I'm spending about 3 units, can I make it less? Something like that. Everything we can do. So now Microsoft and Azure and AWS, they have come out with a complete module which is used for which they will come and tell you, you can have this as a dashboard, start connecting your devices. So cloud is no longer just the storage space, it has gone beyond. It could be specifically for power plants, steel plants, cement plants, and things like that. And with all these industries coming back now, you can see a lot of power plants. The government has almost about 95 gigawatt. The government has planned in the days to come. With all this, cloud is going to play an important role, and that is one thing which we are already there. Then we moved to EduTech, and then Sufin, which is another platform, sort of e-commerce. Then we got into our hydrogen. I'm extremely happy to tell you that the first, probably the hydrogen, the green hydrogen, and hydrogen is produced using solar power. Using means, electrolysis is the process, but power is through solar. When you do that, then it becomes green hydrogen. So we have used it in our plant in Hazira, 800 per hour. We are probably the first to do it. And then after that, now we have started the electrolysis manufacturing. And we are working out, you may see in paper a lot of places where we have started, sort of agreements for supplying hydrogen. Then the next and the most important is semiconductor. We already have a company called L&T Semiconductor, where we do fabless. Currently, we are not fabricating, but we do the fabless part of it, the technology, and maybe some of the EVs, probably companies that are here, might probably will begin to use these chips in the days to come. So why I'm mentioning all this is L&T has been constantly going up the value chain, and that same DNA is there in EduTech. So the way they have grown about in the last 3 or 4 years is a very clear indication, and that is the kind of acceleration this EduTech is going to have. And I wish them all the best. Coming back to the EV, which is the very important part for today, this is also the right time I feel you have gotten into. Because today, what I understand from statistics, it's about 5 to 6% of the vehicles are EV, and that's going to become 30% by 2030. And then you're going to have about 1.32 million stations, charging stations by 2030. So all of this, and the government incentives for, and some of the PLI schemes for chargers and all that. So there is a lot of interest in EV now, and this is the right time. Because when you're going from 6% to 30%, when you don't have so much of charging stations, you need. And those people, it's not easy to create talent easily unless companies like this come forward, and then with the when it's going to be hands-on. When you go to the lab and see for yourself, you will know everything about the EV. In fact, when I started the Smart World and Communication, the first thing I did was to create a technology innovation center, which the whole campus is smart. We have connected cameras, we have connected sensors, and we have connected environmental sensors. We even during the COVID period, We had if somebody was not wearing the mask, we could find out. If the crowd gathering was there, we could find out. All these things we did because this lab was sort of used as a learning platform. And I would like to tell you one more thing also. I was heading solar briefly at one particular point of time, and every building here has got solar at the top, not same type, different. Some will be east-west facing, some will be south-north facing, some will be with trackers, some will be with pipes. I mean, I got an award in one of the intersect saying that you have created a lab in the campus. That's what they said. So we always believe, and our former MD always used to say, when somebody comes inside, he should feel that he is going to get this. So that way, I think lab is it's a right time that you have created, and with import dependence, I think it's good. They want it to come down from whatever it is, 60, 70 to 20% and all that. So all these augur extremely well, not only for the overall EV, but also the individual parts of EV, which is what I saw today. It is not just charger, it's a battery management system, it's a dashboard, it's a control. I think everything is part of this. There are a lot of advantages which all of you know. I mean, energy security is one of the important thing. Emission is one of the important thing. Lower of, I mean, O&M cost, innovation potential. This is where I think one should start thinking about, because it's the faster charging that nowadays the supercharger has come. I think Tesla has created this supercharger, which is also they have already created one in Mumbai, if I am right. They have already started putting one. And the beauty of that is if you're going from, let's say in US, LA to San Francisco, if you're going to go, they will tell you in the car itself where all the superchargers are there. They will give you the time, which supercharger you can use, and looking at your battery, they will say this is the level of the battery, so you have to go to this particular supercharger. And you go there, and by the side of supercharger, probably you may have some food mall or something like that. You can put it charging, put it, and then to go. So this is the kind of the going forward that's happening. And another important thing in the charger is that when you give power, you have to also think about where from the power is coming. See, one thing is okay, the road, the pollution may not be there, but then where from the power is coming is very important. So that if it becomes solar, I think there's a corridor being created by NTPC. They call it as a EV corridor, and then they're going to have solar operating chargers. But practicability of that to be looked at least the hybrid would be very good because it uses less energy. So that again gives you an opportunity, constantly working on battery, replacement, recycling. How much of that can be recycled? All these things can be done only when you have the basic fundamentals of what is all this about, which is what EduTech is giving to you. So that way, I think I can go on and on, but I think others are also there to speak. So EV is it's a very important thing, not only from the charger perspective or the the dashboard perspective. There are multiple things, electronics, so much. So I think recently I was in sometime back I was in US. At that time I was told, they have got a lane, separate lane. If you have gone to know, there's a separate lane where you can travel. You're permitted to travel at a high speed, and it's a separate lane for you. And but people were going using this, and they will just switch on, and then they will relax, and then they'll allow it to go. But there were some accidents taking place. So what they immediately did was that they created a software. There was a version which they created every time. They, like iOS, there's a software version which goes on, and that will find out whether your eyes are whether you wink or you don't. If you don't, then they know that you are not seeing. Then you will get a negative point, and the next time you may not be allowed to travel. So they found out a software which will really sense that. So it's an endless topic. This EV and the application, dashboarding, and all that. I'm sure this whatever EduTech is doing is great, and you will get. The colleges and students and the aspiring entrepreneurs will be able to get a lot of things out of it. And coming back to the last few things about the smart world and communication, because it's this kind of forum. I may not get always, so it's better to utilize it. So I told you we started a company called the Smart World, and a business, not a company, a business called Smart World and Communication. Today I'm extremely happy to tell you we are handling about 29 smart cities across the country. In fact, some of the solutions which when we When I shared with LTTS in in US and Europe and all that, they were not aware of so much of things happening in the country. Few solutions I'll tell you before I wind up. We have done the crowd management for Kumbh Mela, which is one of the largest gathering in the world. Where we created. In fact, we were probably the first to use NVIDIA chips in the country. Probably didn't know that NVIDIA was going to go to this level. I mean, first Kumbh Mela, which is about 7-8 years back, it is like a crowd management software we gave, which will measure the at different locations. The moment it reaches a threshold, it will immediately give an indication through the video screens and all that go to the next lane. Because this is Kumbh Mela is one where people come to have a food. So it completely avoided the stampede. And this time what we have done is once the crowd reaches a level, we call it as pontoons there. So one pontoon will be open, the other pontoon will be closed. As a result, the experience was fantastic. We are the first to do this crowd management system. Last time we did, and this time also we did. We created a control room in a very short time of 90 days, and we used analytics also there to find out lost and found, and some of the serial killers we were able to find out. The control room was so good. They have used it for this last very recent Kumbh Mela also. They used it and it was very effective. So this is one of the very good solutions that we have done. And during the COVID period, when there was a requirement, let's say in Hyderabad, I think there was a requirement saying there is a lockdown, and you are not supposed to travel even if required, beyond 3 kilometers. How to find it out? So we had the number plate recognition cameras. It will find out it was connected to the RTO database, and immediately it will communicate, and then each alarm will be issued to them. So the first week there were a lot of violations, but next week it started. And another thing we did was in Vizag during the same lockdown period when people had to go and really genuinely, if somebody is sick, he has to go to the doctor. So we created a mobile app. So they will have to fill up, this is the hospital, this is the doctor, and all that, and they'll get a QR code, and they will have to show it to the police center. So why I'm mentioning all this is that there is tremendous amount of application in technology once you get into it. This is again to emphasize the constant urge. I mean, constant the initiative that L&T is taking, in technology part of it, and with and the same mindset is there in EduTech also. I'm sure. I mean, it's not just EV; it's more and more in the days to come. So I'm sure you are. I mean, I would like to once again tell you that you are doing a great job, and I wish you and your team all success. And thanks once again for calling me. It's a great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable industry insights. Your perspectives on the promising aspects of electric mobility and importance of continuously updating and upgrading ourselves has given us plenty to reflect on and aspire to. Thank you so much for taking your time today and for inspiring us. And with that, we are equally privileged to have with us Mr. Kalyanaraman S., Executive Vice President and Head Industrial Machinery Business, L&T Rubber Processing Machinery. With more than 3 decades of experience, Mr. Kalyanaraman has built a reputation as a leader who can take on complexity and turn it into growth. From sales and marketing to manufacturing and business development, he has worn many hats, each time leaving a mark by transforming challenges into opportunities. He is known for his ability to reimagine businesses, build strong global partnerships, and steer operations towards profitability through strategic planning. And with that, over to you, sir.
Good morning, all of you, and wish you all a very, very happy Navratri. Febin, the industry partners who have come here to attend this conclave, the university and institutional academicians, my own colleagues, friends, brothers and sisters, wish you all once again a warm welcome. It's a holy time. All good things start during this time. And in a subject like the future mobility or the EV lab, I was not really very sure as how I would be really connected. In this August gathering, there are people who are extremely exposed and experienced in the mobility industry, in the automotive industry, in the EV industry, or whatever the departments that the EV would actually connect to, and academicians and my own EduTech colleagues, how I would make a relevance with a person from a person who has got a manufacturing background. What qualifies me here and what brings me here, and to talk about topics which are quite relevant today. Only thing which I can recall as a qualification is I am in a senior position and of course a good friend of Febin for the last 3 decades. But let me do a little perspective thinking and bring about a connect as what we are talking about, how it has been arrived at and what is expected of us and what is that we are currently sailing through. Mankind has been evolving. It has gone through many evolutions and many things have been identified by the human mankind as the way of life, as the need of life, or going one step forward as a comfort of life. Mobility is the most important because without mobility, nothing happens. Otherwise, we would not have come into a situation where we can call the current world as a global. Hello? Yeah, I think I am audible now. Otherwise, we wouldn't have reached the situation where we can call ourselves a global world, and with mobility being the primary force in connecting people, connecting India, connecting world, would not have been possible without a single most important and most recognized invention or discovery, whatever you can call, a wheel. So that's even today the single important discovery or invention in the world which has facilitated the mobility, which is also a factor in the electric vehicle or any vehicle that we have been. World has transformed. Our transportation or travel needs have been changing in dimensions. We have gone through various kinds of transportations, and automotive as an industry has assumed a very, very prominent position in most of the economies. Why talk about even some societies? Many of the economies in the world where automotive industry used to be the barometer to assess the progress of the economy, it has assumed that kind of an importance. But along with every development, we always have some kind of a challenge or a threat which keeps challenging the humanity. While mobility is important, connectivity is something which you can't compromise, and automotive is something which you can't dispense with. It created a lot of concerns, and the world has started worrying about it, rightly so. The ESG concerns, whether it is environment, society, governance, these are all things which are being talked about with a lot of relevance and importance today, but environment to be more specific. The impact that is coming out on the economic environment front because of automotive has become a matter of concern. So, like any developing community, we also have started thinking about what we need to do to come over this environment or climate related issues and try to create an environment so that it can be given to the next generation better than the way we have inherited it from the previous generation. So it is not only automotive, it is many other areas of industries which are actually contributing to the environmental or the climatic factor. While the fixed properties or the fixed elements where the pollution or the environmental concern can be very well addressed with the regulations and things, the automotive environment, which is something which is spreading all over the world, could have been difficult to control given the nature of its use. So, developments in technology had always come to hand and EVs have born. Some of you may remember, EVs are not new today. Even in India, 20 years ago or 25 years ago, we used to have EVs manufactured by a company called Reva, which used to run in cities like Bangalore. Obviously, it did not pick up because of the factors that did not facilitate its growth and that it could actually deserve and need. But it was a starting point. We had something to experience and look back. What is needed to be done in case of such transformations in technology is the best way is to probably put it as a part of the educational institutions' R&D activities, because most of the development happens with the university spending time either with the new talent or the budding talent guided by the existing teaching talent. Many developments in whichever field that you take have gone through this phase, and this is going through this phase, and it is the right way. If you remember, some of you may remember, EV, what we are talking today, there are few countries, maybe the Americas and the Chinese are leading the way, but many of us may not know. 20 years ago, Chinese had devoted almost 30 of their universities for developing batteries, which we are probably in a position to say that we have reached one of the best status as far as battery utilization and the other efficiency parameters are concerned. They have instituted a $10 billion amount those days. The amount may be something which not be very relevant, but they have institutionalized this to develop batteries 20 years ago, and today they are able to really see the benefit of what it has really done. Of course, today we are seeing the whole world is going behind because of the natural advantages that we will get, the improvements that it can actually bring about. When we are transforming from one mode of transportation to another mode of transportation, there will be challenges. These challenges are normal when there is any transformation in any field, whether it is standards which can govern these batteries or EVs, whether the charging infrastructure. Mr. Srinivasan had talked about how supercharging is becoming a way of life in some of the countries, or even the EV battery disposal, the e-disposal or the battery disposal, which is going to be a major concern. And incidentally, I read a statistic somewhere. Today, batteries will outlive cars. There are batteries which I read, which can be charged 3,000 times in their life. And even with a 300 kilometer range, assuming it has the modest range, it will run for 900,000 kilometers. And most of our automotives do not run up to that level. So batteries will outlive cars. This is another theory which I have been talking about. So, given the complexity of the problem, given the solution which is already established, universities and startups actually take the big lead, which actually get refined and implemented by the bigger organizations. Thus, it becomes very relevant that universities are facilitated to take on the emerging technologies, and today the emerging technology that we are talking about is the Mobility Conclave and the EV lab that our EduTech had recently launched. This is a very, very important step because given the need and given the realization that universities can play a big role, in our own way, L&T EduTech, apart from their various areas of operations or various areas in which they are present, EV has been taken up as one, and Febin and her team had put things together, invited industry experts, created a conclave and created a wonderful lab, which we had an opportunity to have a preview, which will give the entire infrastructure that is needed for a research lab, which is going to be one of the transforming factors which when you see and when you utilize either by yourselves or by the students as how transformative it can be, how useful it can be. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be before you today in the inauguration program of the Electric Vehicle Laboratory, a milestone that reflects not just technological progress, but also our commitment to a sustainable future. Because this is something which is going to really be a matter of concern to everybody, not only as individuals, but as corporates, but as governments, but as societies. The global shift toward the cleaner mobility is no longer a distant dream. It has become a reality and it has become a necessity. Rapid urbanization, which is something which anybody would not like to deny because it's a need. Rising energy demands, it goes by the day, and we have to definitely find out ways and means of meeting these energy demands. And climate changes are compelling us to rethink the way we travel and transport our goods. Electric vehicles are at the heart of this transformation, offering solutions that are environmentally responsible, economically viable, and technologically exciting. This initiative will serve as a hub for innovation and collaboration, because that is where the progress can come. Collaborative effort because a collective wisdom. Innovative approach because that is where ideas will come for a better future. Yeah, I think I am audible now. Students will have opportunity to move beyond their textbooks, experimenting with all areas which are associated. Faculty and researchers will find a platform to prototype ideas, partner with industry, and contribute to India's EV mission. And this is our small contribution to the India's EV mission. The numbers are all being floating around, how we will build our EV vehicle population, infrastructure, regulations, etc., etc. This lab will also represent a mindset from an incremental change to a transformative impact which is required in this field, paving the way for cleaner air, reduced carbon prints, and also energy independence. These are all big agenda, but all of them can happen only with the stepping stone approach that we can provide in initiatives like this. An organization like L&T EduTech, which has got association with universities, which has got a multiplier effect, can play a very, very instrumental key role in this initiative, and they are ideally doing it at the right time. I urge all the students and researchers to dream boldly and experiment fearlessly. Use this opportunity to design better batteries, smarter drivetrains, and more efficient energy systems. These are all continuous improvements we have to bring about. The changes that we have seen so far today is phenomenal, but the best is yet to come. And that day will never come because we will continue to improve. The breakthroughs that you achieve may power not just vehicles, but the entire communities towards a greener tomorrow. As we have cut the ribbon today, let us also open the doors for responsible innovation, ensuring that technologies that we build are accessible, affordable, and aligned with our collective environment goals. Together, let us make this EV a beacon of light, and I once again congratulate every one of you to have been an active partner in this initiative along with L&T EduTech and L&T EduTech Febin and her team for taking this pioneering initiative, which is relevant not only from our organization point of view, but from the country point of view and from the environment point of view. Thank you very much and wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts and for capturing the very essence of our vision today. And as a token of our appreciation for taking time with us today, we have a small memento as a gesture to thank our chief guest for the day, Just to thank you, both of you, and for inspiring us and for being part of this wonderful journey. I would like to call upon the leadership team onto the stage, Ms. Febin, Ms. Anita, and Dr. Anbutambi. And also, I call the chief guests for the day, Mr. R. Srinivasan and Mr. Kalyanaraman. So, ladies and gentlemen, give them a loud round of cheers for being here and for inspiring us with their very words of wisdom. May I have all panelists who have joined us today for this event onto the stage, please. Thank you so much, all of you. And with that, the first session for the day is done. And now we move on to a conversation that brings this vision to life. Electrifying the future, academia industry synergies in EV, the panel discussion. And we have a round of panelists who are practitioners and innovators who have lived the journey of EV development, and they bring stories, challenges, and lessons for all of us to learn from. And with that, I invite the panelist, Mr. Mahadevan N., Chief of Chennai Advanced Technical Center, who brings 3 decades of automotive engineering experience with a focus on innovation in farm equipment and hydrogen engines. He has been at the forefront of sustainable solutions in automotive technology. Welcome, you, sir. And the next panelist for the day, Dr. Anand Gurupadan, General Manager at Renault Nissan Technology and Business Center, India, a veteran in powertrain development, ADAS, and software engineering, bridging industry and academia to enhance vehicle performance and safety. And moving on to the third panelist, Sunil Nair, Vice President and Head of HR and Administration at Future Mobility, who carries 25 plus years of experience across global organizations, championing workforce transformation and talent strategies to drive organizational growth in the system. And the last panelist for the day, Mr. Karthikeyan A, CTO and co-founder of Rapti Energy, a production engineering graduate who has always been fascinated by how things work, often taking gadgets apart and putting them back together. And this curiosity led him to the EV space, where he now leads Rapti Electrical and Electronics team, driving innovation and shaping the company's solution. And I'm really excited to call the moderator for the session, Ms. Anita Jayapal, Head HR L&T EduTech, whose journey across leading diverse industries, technology solutions to technology-driven enterprises brings clarity, curiosity, and warmth to every conversation. She has a unique knack for understanding people and systems alike, shaping teams, fostering inclusivity, and guiding growth wherever she goes. And with a thoughtful and empathetic approach and a passion for building meaningful connection, she turns every dialogue into insightful and engaging experience. So we all are equally excited to listen from this panel. Over to you.
Good morning, all. A little more energy because I think we have been listening to talk conversations, and I think this is exclusive for you. So, good morning once again to all. That's better. So a very, very warm welcome to one and all who's assembled here and my esteemed panelists. Warm welcome once again on behalf of L&T. It's an honor to welcome all for this exciting conference on the future of e-mobility. We are here on the forefront of mobility revolution, where technology and sustainability and innovation are converging to shape the future of transformation. I think we will not less agree that the era we are actually either lucky because we know a lot of things, and we are even more lucky because our kids and the younger generation teach us much more than our. So we are always on the toe to learn things and to keep up the pace. Today we hear the thoughts from the leaders, industry experts, and my own HR fraternity who enable and drive the change in their organizations. I look forward for the engaging discussions, not only from the panels, but from each one of you, fresh perspectives and insights that inspire us. On this note, we will start. Maybe I would like to start with Mr. Mahadevan from TEFE. So, how in your organization integrating EV technologies into the product development and the workforce training happens? Some insights from your end.
Okay. Good morning. First of all, thanks for this opportunity. We come from the agricultural tractor manufacturing company. The EV technology was, forefront was two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and passenger cars. Now we want to adapt the technology to this, tractor. It was very difficult to move from the mechanical to that, the hi-fi, EV technology. The first fundamental question that we have to, make sure that the entire company understands is that okay, what is this technology? Whether this technology can be applicated directly that come from the passenger car to the tractor, okay? And then because the applications are completely different, right? We have this. I keep saying this high-speed, low-torque machine passenger cars and two-wheelers, whereas tractor is high torque, low. Now, how to adapt those technologies and what are all the things that we need to do in the subsystems like motors and the batteries? Okay, are we doing it fundamentally right, or we need to tweak in terms of chemistry and technology? So that's one thing that asking ourselves how to adapt those technologies. And also the first thing that we realize is that the sudden change needs to take a lot of time to make sure that okay, how to bring this kind of skills and understanding across the different functions of the organization, because other functions are buried under the current scenario, right? They have targets to meet and everything, but bringing the new learnings becomes very difficult. So we need to make a separate functional team to make sure that okay, we're bringing this new technology, and we need to gear up multiple folks in the organization understand this technology so that it becomes easy for us to transition. And it's not only the engineering team; it's also the manufacturing team, what they have to do, what they cannot do, sourcing team, and also the supply chain and service team, marketing team. So this is the entire organization-wide effort to make sure that okay, something is coming. You guys need to gear, but then acquire some kind of skills, and then we have to look for companies like L&T to find some kind of a training for all of them. But that's the reason we are looking at find pathway to make sure that we are in the middle of space, and we also need to make sure that okay, you can't just go and then buy some components and start integrating. We need to kind of a fundamental analysis. The decision I make has to be some fundamentally understood. So can I start doing some kind of simulations and build the capability in terms of simulating the performance of the batteries and powertrain? So there's a multiple focus happening towards to make sure that product and the technologies are integrated, and then the ecosystem to understand the technology and the product are being spread across the organization, and the backbone in terms of building the capabilities in terms of simulations and everything are also being done, so that try to get into this kind of a launch very quickly.
Interesting. I think collaboration is the one, and it cuts across all departments. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Yeah. So maybe it will be very interesting to hear from you, Dr. Anand, on probably how and what advancements are taking place in EV in design engineering, especially because you come from Renault. Any specific development in powertrain, because we know that you are in powertrain. You talked about stimulation, and I think I'm seeing.
Okay, so good morning all, and first of all, thank the L&T EduTech management team, Praveen and Dr. Anbudhan, extending their invitation to be part of this event. Talking about electric mobility, so including future mobility, so there is beyond electric mobility, there are many things that come up in the vehicle. You might be hearing about the connected cars. So, as even the chief guest has elaborately the many topics. So we are talking about the connected cars. The car can speak. So we call V2X. It will be vehicle to X, vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to grid. Today we are talking about technology. You know about Nissan Leaf, launched in 2008, is a globally first mass-produced electric vehicle in the market, and till date there is no single incident reported on the battery fire or battery safety issues as well. So the technologies are there, it's keep evolving, and it's not into the saturated level where the ICE, its competitive price or competitive range it can provide or competitive lifespan it gives equivalent to the ICE and the cost. So that we need to reach there with the another motive of green, right? It's this all initiatives started with the aim of carbon neutrality. India is targeting 2070, many European countries are targeting 2050, 45. So each country, and we are signed in Paris summit. So Indian government agreed to that. So we are accelerating many things, and the government is supporting with many initiatives, not only in the electric vehicle front, but we are talking about green energy. So the solar, the ecosystem itself, smart grids, where peak time the vehicle can give energy back to the grid, so that the grid no need to operate in the fluctuating time. So grid can operate in the very sweet spot. So it gives big energy savings. So in these are all other things. The next one we are talking about is the autonomous drive, so driverless car, right? So that brings many other topics of cyber security, image processing, and then the very another buzzword you keep hearing is a software defined vehicle. Right? If you go back 30, 40 years back, just open an ambassador car, there is a set of mechanical parts with some hydraulic systems and some wires for lightnings. Today, the car is completely driven by software, and this will go much more sophisticated. Only the software is driven the car, the hardware is going to remain same. So as like we have your mobile phones which is going on a OTA, the car, the automotive industry softwares will have a firmware over the air, right? Here we call, so that will evaluate. Right? This is another dimension of the future mobilities is coming. Okay. Coming back to the electric vehicle, we have many challenges, as I said, starting from the battery technology, so which weighs the 50% of the weight of the car and more than 50% of the cost of the car. Right? So there is the core area where we more, and as a simulation front, simulation background, that shift left is the strategy. Right? We can't afford to do many physical trials on road. Right? When we make a one prototype car, if the car is on road now, if it's a mass production, it's a 10 lakhs means. When you do a prototyping, say 1 year back of the startup production, the same car will cost you around 30 to 40. So we need to produce minimum number of cars to do all the trials. We're talking about the safety, right? Many of our Indian OEMs like Tata and Mahindra are accelerated the sales, the tag of safety car, right? They are the pioneers in India itself, the 5-star rating on NCAP safety rating, passive safety and active safety. So what it means is to get such a ratings or safe car to be given, many physical trial has to be done. And these are the cars once tested means cannot be reused. It's a scrap. You have to throw it. So how we are limiting such physical test in a digital world so that we go with the minimum number of prototypes which goes on road for all the testings, including the crash, so that we can save a huge money, then huge time, right? Mobile phones are coming every week. There is a new launch. Even before the mobile delivered to us, there is another launch with the same price or lesser price with the same way you can see the many cars. Every month you can see companies are launching a new cars. It means competitive. There were 3 to 4 years to develop a car and bring it to the market. Today we are challenging ourselves with 2 years. Now with the Chinese competition, we have to develop a car in less than a 2 years near time to bring the car to the market. So with such a bigger competitions, we need to be more faster. So the simulation gives the upfront benefit to bring the car with a better quality and a better lead time. When it comes to the technology part, it's battery and then the electric motors. So when it comes to electric motor, the biggest challenge is the technology is okay. PMSM motors we are talking about, everything's okay, but it uses the rare earth materials like a dysprosium to bring the thermal stability. Otherwise, the magnets will go demagnetization at higher temperatures. So how we reduce kind of rare earth materials utilized in the electric motors, so that again bring the value down, and also when we talking about the environment, from one technology of fossil fuel another technology we go, another way we are exploiting the environment. So these are the areas that we can save the money, save the environment, and the digital front contribute to this.
Thank you, Am. I think having said that, speed and agility, I think, is very important in these projects. And I think you said it already, but as we talk, maybe we don't know how many patents, how many innovations are already done by case. So now I'll probably ask, this question, because I could see a lot of people from academia, and when we talk talent, I think it comes always and boils down to HR, these questions, right? So, from a talent perspective, what are the key competencies that you look for the EV talent, especially in the future? Because it's a future mobility and talk EV is the future. So, what is the competencies that you?
First of all, thank you, Anita, for thank you, Anita, for inviting here. I represent a company called Clean Mobility, which is part of Murugappa. We have invested close to 3,000 crore, and we roll out our products under a brand name called Montra Electric, and we focus on the productive end of the spectrum, not on the consumptive end of the spectrum. So productive end means the product what out are a kind of revenue options for the users. So there are 4 platforms we are developing. One is a 3-wheeler, which is already on the road. Then there is a small commercial vehicle, which is 3.5 ton, which is also launched recently and now started seeing in the market. And then it's a 55 tonner tractor trailer and all that stuff, which is it's a heavy commercial vehicle, which is located in Manesar. And then we are rolling out electric tractors. So probably we just went ahead and did that, not waiting for TAFE to launch. So 27 HP tractor is already launched, and it is being used by a few of big corporates right now. And soon we will be coming out with 45 HP tractor as well. So these are the four products, the four platforms and various applications which are there. Now, before I answer to you, let me just give a kind of a big picture about the kind of things happening in this particular sector. So if you look at India, segment-wise, if you look at, see, two-wheeler is roughly the penetration option is around close to 50% right now. Three-wheeler, the next in the ladder, it is around 40%. Passenger car is hovering around 5 to 6%, and buses is touching 5%. Trucks, it is not even 0.5% right now. Tractor, it is almost zero. We are all few people who are trying to do that particular. And believe me, tractor is the toughest act to make it happen. So if you look at all this particular thing, and again, the kind of OEMs who are playing in this particular field, you can largely divide them into two. One is a OEM who is already into IC. They are called as a convergent players. And people like us who just spot the opportunity and try to disrupt this particular market are called native EV companies. Okay, so these are the two types of organization who is generating or products and solutions and all that stuff. Now, if you ask me what is the game? The game still in EV is supply chain game. It's yet to be a tech game. Largely people, technologies, those technology which are commoditized and available are being harnessed by experts like people sitting here, okay, who identify that kind of, what is the kind of tech harnessing which can be brought to a particular application which meet the need of particular segment of this is the play. Now, while availing that particular technology, then the biggest discipline which any OEM will enforce is on the BOM cost, bill of material. So there is a cost at which a technology is to be made available to the end user is the key question in the boardroom. Okay, and that need to be answered jointly by the commercial and technical people together. So it's a techno-commercial supply chain game, I would say. Okay. So having said that particular thing, and I'm sure that this will move towards a tech game. And tech game will be led by the software, embedded system, okay. So now let us place the talent requirement, okay, in this way. So what is the talent requirement? So you have the entire commercial aspect, all the traditional manufacturing aspect. So if you look at a typical BOM of a vehicle, it is 50 to 60% on the electrical side, motor, battery, and all that. That takes away 40-45% of total BOM cost. And mechanical component will be 30-35. So, and India as a country is well developed and highly evolved in terms of mechanical component. There is no issue. We are there. There is no dependence on this. Electrical component, there is a heavy technology is not, and the kind of supply chain issues like what Dr. Anna was trying to say about HREs or cell configuration and the entire supply chain refining as far as the parents and all that is concerned. So now, if you look at what is the kind of talent requirement for me or for a company like ours, of course. The kind of competency, obviously there is a straight answer from battery, motor, controller, embedded system and associated software. So that is the vast pool where which we are looking for talent, which is not there. Sure. I will come to that particular thing at a later point, how we are trying to build that particular thing. Mechanical straight, it is there. We hire people from the environment, other OEMs and
Now, but the real game lies in so solutioning means understanding the need of the customer because uh, the kind of requirement from a commercial standpoint is that total cost of ownership. If a solution is there, how it is going to meet an ICE solution in a 5-year to 10-year kind of a period. Okay. You have to show the money on the table. You have to show that money, and then that solution will be accepted. And inherently, the electric vehicle cost is 2 to 2.5 to 3 times of IC. I'll take an example. A 55-tonner tractor trailer, an IC vehicle costs 35 lakh. But the same 55-tonner electric vehicle costs you over 1 crore. Now, why should anybody put that 1 crore on the table to do that? Because your equations are established. You have an after-sales market, well evolved. You have a after-service setup, spare parts ecosystem. Then the fuel economy, everything is set. Your finance ecosystem. So the entire enabler around an IC is well set. Why should, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, should risk 3 times my capital for a technology yet to get established, for a battery which we don't know what is the technology, the software that goes silent, active, we don't know, and what is the after sales? I mean, I take the battery out, then 50% of the vehicle is not worth of this particular. It's only a shell which is there, which is anybody's guess. So that is where the people who are involved in providing this solution, taking that particular use case, say for example, if I go to a cement company, from the mine to factory, if it is 150 kilometers, I have to establish that this 150 kilometer my vehicle will run. And these are the charging points, these are the docking, undocking. And I have to establish that for 10 years, if you give me the contract, I will give back double the profit what you are making out of an IC vehicle. So there is a techno-commercial role, a solutioning part which is emerging now. There is a whole lot of software-related competency for making this particular solution even more worthier, and the whole lot of telematics and predictive maintenance aspect, and the whole lot of data which is generated out of all the subsystems of electric powertrain and all that stuff, and goes and sits in somewhere where the usage, what you can say, pattern is being registered, and that is being used for further solutioning and refinement of the system. These are the things which are happening in commercial aspect, I can say, and those who are going to manage this particular thing is going to be a premium. Okay, and from a talent pool standpoint, India has got various hotspots. Which are the hotspots? One is your Pune Aurangabad hotspot. You have Chennai, another hotspot. That is Hosur Chennai hotspot. Sanand is there. Delhi NCR is there. And then Indore, Pinampur, Devas. These are the vehicle automotive hotspots in the talent are dispersed in this way. And for us to manage this particular entire commercial aspect, we have to rely on each of these and then we need to draw. Yeah, the initial response.
Yeah, I think interesting fact is, I think what I can take from you is, I think one is, we are predominantly a mechanical origin country, city, what we call. But however, today I think the need is also to be electronics, say. And so what it means to us is, I think he says there's no ready-made talent pool available. I think that's what and he says that if you want this pool to be created, spotting this pool, training this pool will become a big challenge, and that is how we will supply the chain of talent. Interesting. Thanks. Having heard from all the established organizations and who are actually veterans in this field, we have here with us CTO, co-founder, and a very interesting person from LabT, Mr. Karthikeyan. Maybe would like to hear from you. What are the innovations in LabT energy bringing to the EV space, and how can academia contribute to such breakthroughs?
Okay. So, hi everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Uh, so the innovations what we are trying to bring in is again we started our company 6 years before, and that's the peak where there's like plenty of electric startups all over the country. So we need ourselves to be like distinguished in the entire crowded area. So first we wanted to understand the customer pain points. Again, there was a major hurdle when there was an adaptation of for the EVs in the last 5 years. So starting from first thing was the performance of all the EVs which were launched earlier was not very on par with ICE engine. Second, the charging infrastructure was not yet very sure at the point of time. So we wanted to address these two pain points when we started developing our product. So on the board, what we wanted to do is first we wanted to address the charging. Yes. So we at the time when we started. Hello. Yes. There was no standardized charging infrastructures for the two-wheelers. So, but there were already growing adaptation for the CCs to charging network for the four-wheelers. So we wanted to take a bold move and then make our motorcycle the first in India to accept CCs to charging infrastructures for a sorry back again. Thank you. So again, when to make this hello. Sorry. Thank you. So again, to make this product, into realization, we had to adapt a lot of four-wheeler technologies into motorcycles. Again, even the four-wheeler space was still growing up. To adapt that technology for the two-wheelers was the biggest challenge for us, because we need to miniaturize a lot of the solutions for the two-wheelers. Again, we don't have that kind of space what the four-wheeler have. We can integrate motor controller in a four-wheeler, and you will have a lot of systems. You don't need to think about tooling as a biggest challenge. But when it comes to a motorcycle at a very small form factor, even cooling your electrical components, even your battery pack will be a biggest challenge. So these kind of challenges we had to innovate a lot of solutions. So we bumped up our entire just to more than what being used in the car, which is not a standardized form factor for two-wheelers when we started design. And we didn't have ecosystem to kind of take off-the-shelf solutions to kind of build our product. So we had to design most of the solutions in-house. So which made us to build a team and make them understand the problem what we are facing, and then innovate solutions in this space. As of today, in our vehicle, roughly more than 80% of the components that goes into design and then validated. So these are the challenges where we were innovating to make a breakthrough here. And when it comes to academia, to help us in all these stages to break through, right? The initial part of the challenges was the lack of knowledge base. Being a very small startup, we don't have that kind of knowledge database over the legacy companies. So this is where if there was a knowledge database that can be shared to academia in a lot of these cases, product on examples, simulations, we get to see is I think the shared knowledge database will be very helpful for budding companies to leverage the knowledge and not spend a lot of time in getting the data. I mean, if you have the data, we can just throw in our problems and we can try to solve it. So this kind of shared knowledge database, shared talent help us to break through a lot of these challenges much faster as well.
Great. I think when it comes to data, when it comes to the pool, I think the academia will come upfront. Now today, academia is also scaling up fast. Probably doing a course correction whenever they require to meet the industry needs. And I'm very sure that as we go, we will explore more of that. So maybe I would like to probably ask Anand again on how can engineering institutes, because having said the challenge of talent, and especially scattered talent, how can engineering institutes better prepare the students for roles, in the future mobility, powertrain, and other design areas?
So, comes to the academic, I'm participating in many of the universities as a board of studies or academic councils. So I will start with one thing is strengthen the fundamentals. I did my bachelor's in the year 2000. So by that time itself, the curriculum is fixed. It's relevant to even for today. Only the updates needed. But as a mechanical engineer, I studied the electrical systems. I studied the electrical drives. I studied the microprocessors as a separate subject, and also I studied the C program. Okay, so there is nothing new to be there, but how far it's emphasized and properly taught, and the students realize that these are the fundamentals as we go as a multidisciplinary industry. Now, nothing is mechanical. The automobile industry is seen as a core industry visiting the college, so only the mechanical engineers will sit for that. They wait for that company to come. Okay. Not today. So even our organization, Technical Center, has 3,000 mechanical engineers, another 2,000 to 3,000 electrical and electronics engineers, another 3,000 engineers from software, CSE and IT. So this is a mix of 10,000. It means, again, it's not individually. Each one is having a cross connections, right? I will start with give a simple example. In a ICE vehicle, the vehicle is undergoing the combustion, right? It's a heat. So we are tackling with mechanical components with thermal. So thermomechanical simulations, thermomechanical things to be considered when we design a part, strength and durability, everything to today electric vehicle, motor components, the electrical components are there, mechanical components are there, and then any product as per your thermodynamics law, the losses are there, so thermal is coming, then there is electrical. So the system is becoming more complex. You have to do a coupling of mechanical, electrical and thermal together. Even the cooling, battery operates between 10 degrees to 25-30 degrees is a very optimum performance of the battery. We have a full efficiency. We have a terrain with a minus 30 degrees and we have a terrain with 3 degrees. Right? So the battery has to give the energy back to heat itself, or battery has to give the energy itself to cool itself. Okay. Again, we need to do a cabin cooling and then we need to do other electrical components. It means why I'm saying this is it's a multidisciplinary approach. So I know there is a college, a university, the electrical department running the electric mobility specialization course. There is no mechanical engineers, mechanical professors are involved. Then what kind of thing they gain? They gain only through electrical, electronic things. But when they come to the industry, they have to work with the fundamental of mechanical components and mechanical system together. The other way, the mechanical engineering, they have electives or in open electives or some electrical topics. Then they touch that in a full-fledged way. As chief guest also talked about the semiconductors, like So we are talking about system of chips. We are talking about silicon carbide or what is it, gallium nitride. So such knowledge, we have curriculum, but the new curriculum, the NEP, many of the course subjects are and many of things are moved into the what is that, open or program course. Right? Whether the students are learning that is a question. So one is take care that curriculum need to be updated as per the news. When it's talking about semiconductor, whether the gallium nitride is taught, students are understanding about that is one. Such examples. When it comes to electric motor, we are talking about synchronous, all those things. Today we are talking about externally excited synchronous motors and zero rare earth material motors. All these kind of technologies are touched. So whoever have the freedom of autonomous or deemed can bring them. The next one is, how you put your students to take a multidisciplinary course. You know about BAHA, SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers. They are conducting a student car making and a race. It's called BAHA. It started 2007, so almost 20 years back with ICE. Means electric motor, then ICE motor they give, the engine they give, they build a car and it's a kind of formula. Running in a very tough times. That moved into e-BAHA. They have a ICE BAHA, e-BAHA, and then they changed to hydrogen BAHA, means CNG running with the car, and now they launched the other one is a-BAHA, autonomous BAHA, means autonomous cars. The students, the bachelor students from the engineering colleges, maybe you are one of here, some of the colleges also might be participating. They are developing the college. So 25 students are allowed. Now, ICE BAHA means almost 25 students are from mechanical stream. When it comes to e-BAHA, the electrical engineers are joining. When it comes to autonomous BAHA, 25 have a participation of software engineers also. So this is the way the college in the academics bring that multidisciplinary understanding. So you have to have a deep understanding of your own stream and shallow understanding of the other areas like electrical, the control systems, and then the software. Because earlier it was a component, it will have its own control, it won't has its actuators. So each software will be embedded into that component alone. It's an embedded software. Today we are going on a domain based, right? It means ADAS system means there is a separate controllers. And then body controls means doors, wipers, all mean body controls. Powertrain means then fuel injection, the performance, there is another control. Brake system, another control. It's a domain based today. Future is nodal based, zone based. Means you know car you call it front, rear, front left, front rear, front right, rear right. Same way the controllers systems are going to be zonalized. Means the same zone, the ADAS system like driver drowsiness predictions or the lane departure warnings or adaptive cruise controls, including the other features like a body wipers or lightnings or whatever. So everything has a zonal base, and you have a supercomputer which communicate with the zones so that you can reduce the number of wirings, and the communication is faster through the internet, not through the CAN networks as a whole system. So it's faster, and then decision making is faster, and it reduces the cost of the function. EMI, EMC, we are talking about. Please, you can bring such changes and invite the industrials. That you have this one credit courses in the autonomous and team. The industry experts can share the special knowledge so that the experience-based learning is a put your students to be industry ready when they come to our campus.
Thanks for that. I think fundamentals are very important, and I think the earlier timers are still able to work. That's what I'm saying. And this talent population needs to be, while they disrupt the course, the education, but you still want everybody to stay on the fundamental. That's very,
Yes,
very
exactly.
important.
Just sorry. Even the mathematics, we are learning the mathematics series will be there the first year, third semester, fourth semester, maybe some extent to 5 semester. fourth semester we'll be having numeric methods, the third semester we'll have Laplace transforms and Fourier transforms. These are the fundamental of embedded software. Today the tools will do the job, the mathworks will do all the jobs, but that's sufficient for operation level. If you be a developer, India to become a developer, produce our own components, localize our own components and produce our own vehicle with fully localized electric vehicle means, then we need to master the fundamentals of such controls are developed.
So, Mahadevan, I just come back to you, looking at, I'm very sure that you are today established in this area, and however, we know the difficulties does exist. So, what are the challenges that you face, in the talent, and especially with the EV specific skills, because you mentioned that, and how can academia help from the perspective?
Yeah, I think major challenges are technology is probably quite today, as I said, started with there are some technology maturity on certain aspects of the subsystems like batteries and now every day there are some disruptions coming on the batteries and says rare some action motors, radial motors, and somebody says that sodium ion batteries. So one of the biggest challenges trying to understand that technology, as I said earlier, technologies are disrupting quite fast, and are we developing our system that if some disruption comes, okay, can we able or do we need to revamp the entire product? Because product development is one of the things that we always have a conflict with the business, because when we invest some money business, we like to at least have it for 5 years kind of thing. But when the technology is evolving and there are disruptions, we need to make sure that the technology, the product development happens is technology agnostic. Okay, so that's one area where we have to definitely make sure that can we incorporate those kind of future thinking on the current product itself. And then how much I can compromise. That's a big challenge in the industry or the industry. That's why business is always looking at, okay, so that's one big challenge. And the second thing is, very rightly, that it's always about technology. It's not only technology. It's always techno-commercial. And everything should be focusing for the end user. If it is not going to benefit for the end user, the technology is not going to. We are going through that phase, but soon we will come out of those challenges. That's one area where sourcing only the cost. But how we can able to add value in terms of systems and technologies and everything. For example, we wanted to go for a low cost motors, but they are quite expensive. Go with different motors. Okay. So the moment you think about different motors, I think the efficiency loss is 3 to 4%. Now the battery system has to compensate for the efficiency loss. Whether to spend $30 per kilowatt hour of motor or $150 per kilowatt hour of battery. That's the kind of understanding that people should have. So it's not only cost or the thing, it's always the techno-commercial. That's one mindset has to change in terms of from the business as well as the sourcing. And the third thing is absolutely this power electronics and controls integration. That base requires some fundamental upgradation actually, because maybe 10 years before we all took mechanical and short of electronics and I think they will have a very good time now, because we need some fundamentals having embedded systems, writing softwares. And the fourth one is the battery management system. We always struggle. It's directly related to the safety. So BMS plays a major role in the entire vehicle because of the safety. And now the BMS, of course, there are many people who take the BMS, but the fundamental thing is how to run the algorithms to make sure that it is So that area requires a lot of focus. So definitely this embedded system tools and those areas, they need to be in the sourcing. Today, most of the sourcing people are from mechanical, it's difficult for them to understand this. So we need those kind of people in the sourcing, and they could able to understand what we're trying to engineering. So I think these four areas we definitely need a lot of. We are facing a lot of challenges, and of course, the biggest challenge from the engineering side is that okay, you need to think how to applicate the technology. The product has a different approach. Now, is this technology applicable? Okay, for example, today I sell the tractor. I don't worry how it is going to he enjoys this. The moment I implement any technology, I cannot do this because it has some limitations in terms of uptime, cost, and the feasibility. So I need to be very clear in what kind of application that I'm going to sell these tractors because this tractor is not going to do the same job what diesel tractor. Then I need to keep all those kind of capability everything on the tractor. So should I pick tractor modular one that I can sell based on that same kind of then I have to think here before that I should have put that up supply chain. Okay, other cars are going through this. They have a 30 kilowatt, 45 kilowatt, and based on this, they can create that to get the rate. So can I sell that, design the tractor in the model so that okay, if somebody is not going to the good side, they can sell a 30 kilowatt hour packet pack so that you don't expect that kind of range and everything. But if somebody wanted to use it for the typical diesel tractor, you can put a 70 kilowatt pack into this application. But now I can't develop a new vehicle. But if 3 years would have been the thought process there, I designed the vehicle structure so that I can able to sell it in the market that I want. So my product architecture decision has taken care or inbuilt all the development that I have to implement so that I have volumes. I think these are all the 3 or 4 challenges that we need to look at and see how we can.
Very, very true, very true. Because I'm looking at the time as well. So I would go for a rapid fire question to Karthik. So coming from the startup, what would be a message that you would want to give for the engineering students, aspiring to work in EV startups or keen to build startups like you?
Sure. So again, for students, right? Many of my peers mentioned that talent pool is less, but our organizations we have people, who first initially like stumble upon us. They may not have that kind of skill sets, initially to begin with. Given the right ecosystem, the right guidance, they can able to absorb and adapt fast. So the thing is like the raw talent is there, but it is not particularly like focused towards the segments that we are expecting them to be. So again, this is where I think the EduTech kind of a platform can help all bridge the gap between the universities and the industries, to kind of pull these talents and then make them grow skill sets which can be utilized in specific segments like in EVs or even in chip fabrications or chip designs. There's plenty of opportunities there available in our sector of our country. So I urge all the universities and as well as students to try and then at least engage in the industry level collaborations. Part of EduTech as well as part of organizations and grow their skill sets and at least have an industrial exposure of what kind of skill sets they require and they right again again fundamental is important again it's key to solve advanced problems without fundamental basics they cannot able to break down the advanced problems so fundamentals is also key so mentioned so have fun I think parallelly we need to give them our basic fundamentals as well as engage them in feed them the still problems to understand why fundamentals is necessary and not learn to break down the problem. if they can able to adapt that, I think we can see sure great earnful coming up ahead in the future. And as a part of EV startups, when we say EV space, many of the entrepreneurs think right directly to the battery vehicle. But again, many of us, like we discussed, there is a lot of opportunities in the ecosystem, right? Not only like building vehicles is to be an entrepreneur and apply materials to have innovative solutions in terms of automation, in terms of providing a software solutions. The picture is bigger than what a lot of us have today. So just take a broader view, and there are plenty of opportunities for many entrepreneurs in this space. Apart from battery motors and vehicles.
So skill, upskill, and keep learning. I think that's the message I give. So, Vinu, I think the last word from you, probably the 3 points or 3 pointers that you would like the academia, for scaling up the talent pool.
See, one is that see, people are now at the early stages of their let's not conclude any of this point in time. Keep it little fluid at the beginning because it's a long journey. So academia also, the people who are facilitating that process also need to keep that in mind. Get that what you can say, that flexibility in the to approach this subject little holistically and get them onto the game. And then maybe after 6 years or so, you get really what actually you are cut out for, and then probably start specializing and all that way. One example I think. See if the academy is taking up some use cases from the industry and try to solve, not to the extent what industry expects, but at least some proof of concepts and all that stuff. One thought or trigger I can give, say for example, charging infra. Okay, that's one thing which is something which is a hot topic. Starting from the charger issue onwards to the making the electricity available at a particular level. Say for example, now we are having 20 kilowatt or per unit, sorry, per unit. Can you go out yourself and say for example take up all the three-wheeler segment, okay, and you do it without soliciting any kind of what you can support from the industry to start with. But you send your people and then understand that particular thing. Then reach out to the industry saying that, hey, we have a proof of work. Why don't you come and people will come and really involved in this thing. From there onwards, it will get it. So those kinds of use cases need to be there. And Dr. Anand was telling about the interdisciplinary. It's very important. That system integrated thinking is very important for all the subsystems go and sit in the powertrain and all that. So you need to understand that how it tracks powertrain tracks. So there is one piece which is there. Second thing is all about how do you build your soft skills? How do you, because the soft skill is very important. How do you collaborate? How do you move from one project to another? How do you interact and while you always wanted to be leading or be dominant in that particular, but how do you ensure that the team is also leading in this way? Those are also something which is very important because it is an interdisciplinary. A lot of people will be involved. It's not about tech alone. It's tech commercial. So the guys who don't understand the technology also will get involved in your decision making, and don't get frustrated with that particular thing because most of the time the decision maker finally is a commercial guy going to take that decision. It's not that a tech guy will be taking that decision. So don't get frustrated. Learn to collaborate and do this. Third thing is that knowledge, information is free, and knowledge you will get when you when you go and subscribe or get or rather allow you to be shadowed by a practitioner. When you allow yourself to get shadowed under a practitioner, you will get knowledge, and then you will get wisdom. So allow yourself to go through that process.
gentle, humble, humane approach will help students to acquire that depth of knowledge. Those who have allowed themselves to be that stage in the initial period of their career have definitely found their it's a long game. Okay. Yeah.
I think interesting. Thank you, panelists here. Thank you for being a part of it. It's very interesting. I think the message to all the people assembled here, academicians, industry people. I think the need for the talent is definitely there. There is a gap, and I think what we hear from all of them is together is saying that nowhere we want only a T-shaped engineer, what we call the depth and the breadth of the engineer, but we don't want a curve-shaped engineer. I think this is a kind of a message that I get from them, which means if you see a curve, it has no depth and it has an equal in all phases. So I think you want a person to be on the soft skills, on the technology, and knowing, and so that they can take up the roles, the established institution or the kind of a startup, and all of them are again reinstating one point. Fundamentals are definitely necessary for us, and students or the academicians should take up this opportunity to see how they upskill their students in the relevant field, and which we might think it is today, but I think the tomorrow's hands is in the future, and that mobility is definitely going to be. Thank you so much. Today we hope to shape cleaner, smarter, more sustainable future in this era. And thank you for being a wonderful panelist and all the audience for your patience. And let's all create an impact today's and the days ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So maybe any questions from any questions from please.
Good afternoon. I am Kamalakannan from SRM. Just one or two questions. Like policy makers only decide all the things. What we told about technical guy is not deciding anything. So 2 days before, one day they sold 35,000 cars and 15,000 cars are in line. Right? What happened to EV? Goes down. There is no sales or 50% sales. It's happening in India. But Europe, things are different. They are going for ammonia injection. Right? So what happened? Even one of my students working there, they given Tesla is not using Tesla because of few reasons. So one is mileage phobia. Second one is right because of the tonnage weight. They have to give a cost tax and all the things. How EV is going to survive for another 10 years, 15 years? This is one question. Second question is to host, right? When you are giving opportunity to technical people, I think here more than 50% people from academic institution, you are not giving any seat for us. So we have to share our what things we are doing, and exclusively for industry interaction, we are doing a lot of things. Maybe next time you consider we have to sit the podium, right? Thank you.
So answer is looking at the data, it's very greenery, and the more acceptance is from the Gen Z and the Alpha, who are accommodating the trend of changing. We are paying more cost for the technology. We are paying more cost for the cost. It means for the green environment. So the absorption is there. The numbers are even more encouraging. But as Sir said, the current way of bigger batteries with the weight, the cost, with the subsidies, it cannot be a sustainable solution. So we cannot keep increasing the range that diesel car with giving an 800 or 900 kilometers of range with one filling. So batteries cannot go to that level. It's again exploiting our own mother world very badly than the fossil fuels. The trend should be the kind of data which I see 2 weeks back is the total range, the car range started with 160 kilometer. Now many people are saying 600, 500. but it has to be stabilized around 400, 500 maximum. But the charging infra should be increased so that the smaller batteries, so the cost of the battery is less, the vehicle cost will come down, it's affordable now. Okay, all other connected issues can be reduced, and more infrastructure, you can charge it with a fast charging, ultra charging. So with this kind of solution coming in, it will more affordable and eco-friendly, and it will have more penetration. So this projection what is there, including the upcoming trends, addition of infrastructure, the new battery technologies are coming up, the LFP in India mostly adapting to the LFP, and then we are talking about the sodium ion, talking about solid state batteries, which is not so viable for mass market, but it will penetrate to the luxury segment first 2029. So when these are all optimized as the collaboratively with people and the industry together, it will be more fascinating. So if you see the trend put state line is going to be same like that, means there is no future. It cannot be sustainable. With all these additional things we add as a new technology, new innovations keep coming, it's definitely is viable with the green electricity also, and we are talking about green hydrogen. So everything comes inside, yeah, and the government is with the focus only. They have put a lot of money in the solar and wind, all these green solutions, and even the green hydrogen. Okay, so battery technology, electric will be the drive, but the power may be with the green hydrogen inside the car. We are talking about green hydrogen. Why not in the car is then it's about the safety, all those things. But today the car running with 400 volt system, it's a high voltage system, it's a kind of transformer under your seat, and we are talking about 800 volt systems. Okay, so all those systems when it's adopted with all the safety measures evolving, it's an adopted solution. The second question, I think you have to take.
Time as well. Definitely, I'll catch up with the gentleman from SRM offline, and we definitely will, communicate to you online. However, we never miss the academia because academia is a part of us, and that's why we call ourselves a partnering engineering institutions with EduTech, right? So I think considering the time, if there's any more one last question, otherwise, okay, please.
So one of the panelists made a good suggestion about shadowing the practitioners. So that will be a good, exercise for the students to become skillful. So in Germany, they have a good culture about this. They call it as Ausbildung, where they have apprentice program and engineers go through the program and become skillful, choose the place want to pursue. But what I have seen in my career and also in India is we put engineers in internships in the right projects, and sometimes they are not aligned towards that field of work. So the question from my side is, does the industry have a program like an apprenticeship or a plan to have a program like that, which will orient engineers into their area of interest or the skill they want to pursue in their career?
Yeah, so industries have got very active apprenticeship and internship program. Definitely. Only thing is that, see, when you talk about electric vehicle, largely all the industries or all the companies are into a project mode. So most of the time, now the kind of bandwidth available for really giving attention to the interns, it gets into a little bit of emptiness because of the kind of bandwidth and also the kind of infrastructure they are having. But otherwise, to answer you specifically, we have very active internship. In my company, I am running a very active internship program. I have reached out to various education institutions and doing that. Even people who are the last semester,
are being identified, and they are doing their academics along with the specific projects which are being assigned to them in their campus itself. So those kinds of reach outs are also happening. So that's there. We are open to that.
Today we have active
the mic from Anita. So having heard all of this, I wanted to actually tell you that when I was talking, I said we are having students trained on technology and systems from our partner colleges. That could be a source of your shift left initiative that all of you talked about. And we also need to connect with you, how we can actually the opportunities that you provide for the students on the academic. I mean, today it's all happening, as you rightly said, that shadowing and internships and being on campus in the organization. We could do it together in a structured way for the students. I think Anita was also going to say that. I just pulled the mic from her. So probably that's the way I wanted to tell you.
So thank you. I think the time clock ticking. I think the time is up. Thank you, panelists, and over to you.
So heartfelt thanks to all the panelists for sharing not just their experience, but a clear vision of how can nurture the talent of tomorrow. The insights you have shared today has given us a roadmap to develop capable, confident, and future-ready engineers. And Anita, thank you so much for weaving this conversation together with curiosity and insights and asking the right question that help bring these lessons into practice. And as a token of appreciation for your time and insights, we are pleased to present each of you with a memento. And I would like to call upon Ms. Kelvin and Dr. Anvitani to join us on the stage to present this memento. Thank you so much to Mr. Mahadevan N for joining us today. Dr. Anand Kurupatu. Mr. Binu Nair. And Mr. Karthikeyan A. And also to none other than our moderator for the day, Ms. Anita. Thank you so much, all of you. And as we come to the final,
I want to actually thank my team, right, who put this all together. She will not thank herself, and Dr. Anbu, who has been leading this and planned the whole thing and helped us with that. And there was Abhay, Krishna, and Danish, Manishwar, and Suresh. There's a big team that has worked to bring all of us together. It's not word of thanks. I'm sure Raghu will say that, but he will not thank himself, so I thought I'd just thank him for that.
Yes, so as she rightly said, we are coming to the final moments and it's time to pause and reflect with gratitude. And it feels right to hand over the stage to someone who has seen the journey of EduTech very closely, not just as a strategist, but as a guide who has shaped the journey. And he is Dr. Anbu Thambi. He doesn't want further intro, so yeah, that's moving on to him.
Thank you very much, madam. First of all, let me thank each and every one of you, the participants, of all academic leaders from various institutions. I cannot, because most of them I know by name, but I don't want to count them here. but I still feel there are good amount of principals, registrar of the university, deans and director of a lot of institutions. So first of all, let me thank all of you for taking your time out and coming here. Yes, I know with the amount of academic work and the most important non-academic works you have in college, you also take some time to attend such events, thereby you are also in pace with what industry is doing when you are going back to institution to build a lot of next generation of talent. It is necessary that now you attend such kind of programs, not only by the by anybody, because I strongly believe the power is with you. You only have that potential of making or breaking the students. So I thank each and every one of you for here and this session. Just to add an answer to the gentleman who has no question, why not academicians here? I'm sure you would have seen our earlier events. There were a lot of academic conclaves that we conduct, and if you see, I'm definitely I'm sure half of them are academicians. This is a tech event. This is a EV event. You are not EV as a specific thing. And even if you have noted the channel, we didn't have even L&T speaking. It is for a moderation done by our HR head. But the reason is we want to hear from the industry of you should hear and we should also hear when we are trying to do skilling in the EV space. We should also learn from them what is in the industry from Sir from Amazon or Ashok Leyland. And people they will give us insights of what we should jointly do. So that's the reason there is no panelist. This tech panel which is meant to be for academic, meant to be for EV industry. But any other event, definitely your point is taken, which we are already doing. There is, if you look at our earlier last event, just go through the agenda, we have half of the vice chancellors sitting here, including your own university vice chancellors and etc. So I thank all the speakers, specifically the panel and also our senior leaders from L&T, gave insights on how the trends of EV industry is going. And I'm not an EV guy, but still taking cue out of whatever the panelists spoke today. They know there are a lot of work which is being done by companies, and there are thousands of startups which are working something specific to each and every innovative area in EV to enhance its potential. Thereby, it becomes Rapti is one such example, but there are thousands of such startups. Your own college students have come out and they are working. If you visited IIT Research Park, I know that EV segment what they are doing. You get to know they are building solutions which we can never think of. We will not even know such kind of problem is existing in EV. They are building such solutions, and I'm sure you are party to that building up. So just to conclude, we started as EduTech, we started supporting or bringing in EV skills in our portfolio last year. We started the journey. We built programs in partnership with leading companies, including our own L&T technology services. We built stack of course. We built a model where we work with certain institutions on a COE model. Since our inception, our launch of this program, we have 15 institutions who have partnered last year. We started this EV skilling last year with 15 institutions as big as Manipal University, somebody in Sikkim, Kalinga of Bhubaneswar, and few others. So, universities run the program currently with our lab which we had set up in the institution, and each center, I mean each college, there are 100 students, which means typically around 2,000 students are taking this stack of EV from both mechanical and electrical. There's a different track for electrical, different track for mechanical. Students are undergoing those programs there, which we are now back to back working with industry to see whether they can be employed. That 2,000 people are getting traction in the EV industry. But in the last 1 year, we also evolved. We have also ensured, because the lab, when we talk about lab, we thought it is time to work because industry is innovating a lot of things. New way of BMS, new way of simulation, software. So all that we have revamped the entire laboratory and now we have relaunched, I would say, we have created a facility to help us to teach the entire course of entire EV value chain. So that's the model lab we have set here. We are not a lab setting up by the way. We have set it up with a lot of ecosystem partners around it. And we wish you all to witness the lab, understand what all technology has been taught in that lab. For example, when our Dr. was talking about battery management system, in which we have built a simulation model of how BMS development can be done by students. So all those things you witness post lunch the laboratory, and I'm sure you can see this. You can you can set up similar in your institutions with our support or with yourself. Today, if you want to bring in the EV skills to your students, you will need this kind of environment for your college, and we will definitely work with each and every or skilled people for this segment. When EV will go called as EV, it will be an autonomous mobility. So words will also change. I'm using the old word because I'm an old man. But all these new people will talk only about autonomous vehicle, autonomous vehicle. Forward, I will also use the word. So once again, I thank each and every one of you. I thought I'll just introduce some of them to you just after lunch and during the lab visit. You should also get connected with them. Our lab is built by senior technical people, work with industry and academia. I would request Dr. Jembu Kailas to come to our electrical lesson, which is coming front so that you fix. And Dr. Rangarajan should come here. And Dr. Venkatalaxmi from our electronics and Dr. RBS from our civil and infrastructure construction side. They are our key people whom I thought you should see them because when you go to the lab, you will be interact with them. They have tons of years of experience in industry. They have come here and now they are building this product portfolio or lab and courses. They are beginning the entire show. When we are all just talkers, they are our makers of our organization. And they have a team of 100 people, which I can't call everyone here. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And we will have our, I will introduce Suresh and Mr. Mike just come front so that they can always be connected with you. So these are the three gentlemen who are our college connecting faces. So anything and everything they through them. I will request them to talk to each of you and connect all of you. Nitya also should come because Nitya takes care of once a student is onboarded. That 2,000 students who are studying EV is now taken care by Nitya because somebody has to take their work with. I thought I will introduce this small team to all of you. Thank you very much. So once again, I thank all of you. Other announcement will be made by Madam. But we'll have lunch and then we will have a lab visit. That's more critical for all tech people to understand. And post then we will leave from there. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you.
Everything was well covered by him. So thank you so much all for joining us today. And before the break, I request all of you to join for a group photo just in front of the stage. Suppose this the lunch has been arranged at TC2 building. Our team will be there to assist you. Okay, so we will move towards the entrance of this building for the photograph. And post this, the lunch has been arranged at TC2 building. After which you can move towards the AV and Experience Hub at TC2 building. Our team will be there to assist you in this. So thank you all so much and have a great day. Okay.